As you may have noticed since the beginning of February, the voltage is different. The amount of eyeballs on Volt, the daily volume, the number of countries getting vaulted, the developments and upcoming utilities, the partnerships and the VOLTICHANGE adoption. All these things are breaking records and preventing me from telling you that something huge is in the making. Although I will be outlining a number of events and news that are about to be released, I won't dwell on what follows and attention at its all-time high. Examples like our migration or legendary runs are there to give you an idea of what to expect. For once, what may scare your kids the most will not be my voice but the FOMO from all the entities and people having their eyes on Volt. Now let's get down to business, starting with a burn. As you know, yesterday a DAO approved with a 99.97% majority the proposal to burn 44.85 trillion Volt tokens from the bridge liquidity. Those tokens were worth $74.5 million at the end of the proposal. To give you a better idea of what this means for us, you can think about the burn SHIB witnessed in 2021. This is what will happen here. For those who don't remember it, Vitalik Buterin burned around 50% of the supply that the majority of people was already excluding from the circulating supply. Essentially this burn didn't change the circulating supply as these tokens were not included in it. What did change after this burn is the worldwide exposure and the FOMO it brought to SHIB, which made a 500x happen in the 2 weeks following the burn. The same process will go for us. Although burn wallets will hold a total of about 70 to 75% of the supply, the number of tokens in circulation will not change. The difference in our case, however, will be the exponentially increased deflationary impact in the long run. As you know, every holder receives reflections based on their balances, and so do the burn wallets. This means that the daily burn rate will be significantly boosted even before we see a bull run volume. Of course, I couldn't speak about the burn without answering the when questions. Keeping in mind one of the purposes of this burn, which is to get as much exposure as possible, the 44.85 trillion tokens will be split into 5 equivalent tranches which will be burned every day at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with the first of these burns taking place today. The second proposal that was also approved by our DAO was the transfer of 25% of the Uniswap liquidity to a listing on Polygon. Just like with the migration, most people have yet to realize the importance and the run that a good liquidity allocation can bring. Although the total liquidity across all the chains will remain unchanged, you can easily imagine what price impact this liquidity transfer to a new chain could generate. More demand for the same supply, simple math. You can expect this math to take effect as soon as the Everown poll is completed. Technically, this transfer/new listing will start with a 24-hour poll on Everown validating and executing a liquidity withdrawal. The Everown poll will start on February 14th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thereafter, the Polygon smart contract will be deployed, liquidity will be added and the Volt listing will go live within 2 weeks of this announcement. The launch price and market cap will be the same as on the ETH blockchain at the time of the listing. As you can imagine, I'm not putting my mask on to talk about news that everyone is already expecting. In the midst of all the events I just mentioned above, you can expect several other news to be dropped here and there. Although I am not going to give you dates or specific information, you can for example imagine what the dozens of Indian influencers talking about us every day have triggered. Not only are thousands of people among their 1.4 billion inhabitants now looking into Volt, but the entities that had no choice but to accumulate millions of dollars worth of meme coins to meet the demand of their users suddenly wanting to reduce a month-long process to a few days. On top of that, you also have 5 tier 1s that I've been in quasi-daily contact with for weeks that are seeing an exponential volume growth, a shocking product adoption, media coverage and a holders count growing by the day. While I was hoping to be able to drop a hint on at least one of them, I unfortunately was not allowed to do so at the time of preparing this announcement. You can however expect to see 2 of them show up any hour or day. Keep in mind that each of these 2 exchanges generate on average more volume on their own than our current total volume. Although there are a lot of other things I won't even be able to talk about today, I'll wrap it up by letting you think about the purpose of a 100x is, if you can't spend it. By Voltoshi, not financial advice.